Hi guys, my name is Samantha Kennedy and I work for the University of Florida Extension Service as a Family and Consumer Sciences Extension Agent in Wakulla County, Florida. And I'd like to spend the next few minutes talking to you about food labels, what they mean, what the information on them means, and how we can use them to help us make healthier choices. So first of all, let me show you what a label looks like and we'll just go from there. Okay, so this is what a nutrition facts label, as it's called, looks like. And you'll see this on most food packages. Anything that is in a can or a bag or a box will have this label on it. It may not look exactly like this depending on the size and type of package, but it will always have this sort of information on it. The only exceptions would be things like fresh produce and fresh meat, which may not have this on there because they're not in a package or they're not in the right kind of package. But for the most part, you'll see this on every food that you would buy at the grocery store. There are a few major sections that I would like to just highlight for you just to explain what the information on there means. So the first one is the servings per container and the serving size information. Servings per container are going to vary depending on the type of food and the size of the package. So not every food is going to have the same number of servings per container. Not every package is going to have the same number of servings per container. Smaller packages may only be one serving, like snack size bags of potato chips, or they might have more than one serving. If you get a larger family size of something, it's going to have more than one serving. The serving size also is not the same for every food. So depending on the food type, they may have different serving sizes. In this case, you can see that a serving size of this food is 2/3 of a cup, and there are about 8 servings per container. The next section talks about calories. And calories are basically units of energy that we use to run our bodies. And so calories per serving can help us track how many calories that we are eating at a time or in a day. And most of us need about 2,000 calories a day. And so this is the amount of calories that one serving of this food will provide. And so if you eat one serving of this food, you will have eaten 230 calories. If you eat more than one serving of this food, say you eat 2 servings, you would have to double that number to 460. So you've eaten 460 calories if you eat 2 servings of this food, and so on. This section highlights some major nutrients that are important for us to track to make sure that we're either getting enough or we're not getting too much. So these nutrients can greatly affect health, whether that's in a positive way or a negative way. So for instance, too much of some of these can be unhealthy, such as saturated fat, cholesterol, sodium, and added sugars. And so we get these numbers to help us determine if we're getting too much or too much or too little of a certain nutrient. So for instance, this number here says that one serving of this food has 8 grams of total fat. This again is the amount of this nutrient per serving. So if you were to eat 2 servings of this food, you would be eating 16 grams of fat. This number over here is the percent daily value. So this number is how much of the daily value for each nutrient is provided in one serving of this food. So what is a daily value? Well, a daily value is a recommended amount of nutrients that we need to consume or not to exceed in a day. So most nutrients have a certain number of grams or milligrams that we should be eating in a day to stay healthy, whether that is we want to get enough to stay healthy or we want to avoid getting too many to help us stay healthy. So that's what a daily value is, and this percentage will tell us that in this case, this food has 10% of the daily value of total fat in one serving. And so that helps you kind of track how much nutrients you're getting in every serving of different kinds of foods that you eat. And so you want to be careful about not exceeding 100% in most of these cases. This section down here actually highlights some of the vitamins and minerals that a food can contain in one serving. Again, those percentages are for one serving, and they're not always the same for every food. So you'll see different vitamins and minerals listed in this section for different foods, and it just depends on which vitamins and minerals can be found in larger quantities in a particular food. So you might see vitamin C or vitamin A instead of vitamin D. You might see different minerals down there instead of calcium and iron and potassium. You might even see things like magnesium or manganese or zinc. Depending on what the food contains, they're going to highlight those there. And they're usually things that are going to be good for us that we're going to want to have more of to help us stay healthy. So they're going to highlight that this food has quite a bit of these healthy vitamins and minerals. And then the bottom section down here just reminds you what a percent daily value is, and reminds you that most of us require only 2,000 calories a day to run our bodies and help us function. And so that just reminds you that these numbers are based on a 2,000 calorie diet, and that you want to make sure that you keep an eye on some of the amounts as you are consuming food. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this. And I just want to challenge you guys to take a look at food labels. Go to your kitchens, go to your pantries, take down a few items and just look at the food labels to see if you can figure out whether it's a healthier choice or a not so healthy choice based on the amount of grams or milligrams per serving or the percent daily values. And the next time you guys go to the supermarket, just take a few minutes to just take a few items either from the cart or from the shelf and just look at the label and see if you can make a healthier choice based on the numbers on the label. So remember, those labels are there to help us make healthier choices for ourselves and our families. And so I challenge you guys just to take a look at those labels and see if you can make a healthier choice for yourself.